Now we can enumerate applications on the web server. Enumerating applications on a web server is a key process for understanding the structure and identifying potential vulnerabilities in the web server infrastructure. This is usually done on a set of IP addresses or DNS names or both. We use this method just to get an understanding of the web server infrastructure. We're going to cover three main factors that influence how many applications are related to a given DNS name or IP address. Those three factors in the guide are different base URL, non-standard ports, and virtual hosts. The different base URL concept is an essential part of web server enumeration, as it understands that an application may not start from the root directory of a domain. For instance, if we take example.com, it might host different applications at different base URLs, such as example.com/url1/url2/url3. Each of these base URLs might be serving as an entirely separate application with their own unique set of vulnerabilities. It is therefore important to check each base URL for possible attack vectors. Tools like Burp Suite or Zap can help map out the structure of a web app, identifying different base URLs. As for non-standard ports, many people tend to think of web services as residing solely on port 80 and port 443. However, an application can exist on any TCP port. For example, an application may be hosted at example.com port 20,000. This can be useful for hiding services from casual viewers, but it also means that when enumerating web servers, it's essential to check all ports, not just the standard ports. Tools like Nmap are very powerful for scanning a wide range of ports and identifying running services. As for testing for virtual hosts, a single IP can host multiple domain names, each potentially serving different content. This is often done for reasons of cost saving or low distribution. For instance, an IP address could host example.com with subdomains of helpdesk and webmail, each with potentially different applications and vulnerabilities. It is crucial to enumerate all possible domain names associated with an IP address. Tools like DNS Recon or Dig can help enumerate DNS records associated with a particular domain. These factors require that thorough enumeration does not just stop at identifying the domain name or the IP address. Different base URLs, non-standard ports, and virtual hosts may each hide their own set of applications and, by extension, their own set of vulnerabilities. Therefore, understanding these factors is critical for conducting a thorough and effective enumeration of web servers. Let's explore how we can test each of these factors. What I'm going to do now is use a tool called DERB and point it at the top level domain for the test site. This tool is used to brute force directories or file names on the web application. Let's give a demonstration of what that looks like. So what's happening now is DERB is pulling from its common word list, and that's the word list that runs by default. Let's go ahead and stop that. If I continue testing, every word that returned a status code of 200 could potentially be a truly existing web page. When it comes to testing non-standard ports, Nmap is one of the best tools available. Here's how we might scan for services on a specific IP address. What I'm going to do now is run Nmap on my own local IP. So in order to do that, we can go nmap-pn, indicating no ping, -st, indicating scan for TCP ports, SV attempts to determine the version of the service running on the port. Now we can select the ports we want to scan. I'm going to go port 0 through 655 435. This would scan all possible TCP ports. Now I'm going to plug in my IP. .108.147, and I'm going to make this a bit verbose because these scans take some time. Oh, as you can see, that scan was done pretty quickly. In this case, the nmap scan returned that all ports were closed, but I am aware that the host is up and my machine just blocked all attempts at scanning. In this case, I scanned my own local machine. This is not a web application. In most cases, when you scan a web server, you would get a response from either port 80 or 443. As for virtual hosts, DNS enumeration can usually be performed using a tool such as host in the command line for identifying the name servers, and then attempting a DNS zone transfer. In order to identify name servers, we can go host -tnsexample.com. We have 2 name servers on example.com, and from there we can attempt a DNS zone transfer if we're lucky by typing host-l example.com and plugging in that subdomain that was found. As you can see here, the zone transfer failed, as it should. In addition to using the host command and the CLI here, we have other tools such as Nikto, Nessus Vulnerability Scanner, and other DNS lookup tools like NSLookup, Dig, and other web-based search services that can be used to further assist in the enumeration process. You can use search engines to possibly refine and increment your analysis. The end goal here for this section within the guide is to get a comprehensive view of the web server structure and the applications running on it. Once you have this information, you can move forward with testing and analysis.